Hey everyone, my name is Jenny. If you're new here, thanks for clicking this video. So I am in the midst of coming on a pretty big life change, and I was just sitting in the library reading, thinking about how that life change will be reflected in my channel. And one of the things I was thinking about was making reading vlogs monthly the same way I make my studio vlogs. If you're new here, I'm an artist. I make monthly studio vlogs that kind of chronicle the work that I'm doing throughout the month. And I usually make reading vlogs that are very specific to specific types of books or readathons or different things like that. But then I thought, what if you just made a reading vlog that chronicles the books as you're reading them, and then I can make shorter videos of my reading wrap-ups, because I kind of wrap up books as I finish them and then edit those together. So I'm gonna try that. So today is November 8th, and I just wanted to tell you what I'm currently reading today. So I'm reading The Baby on the Fire Escape by Julie Phillips. I am just about 2/3 of the way through. I read this with the Thrive Together Network. I lead their book club there, and the check-in is on Friday. So I have to just finish these last few pages before the second check-in. And I am reading Birdie by Tracey Lindberg. Tracey Lindberg is an Alberta author, and this is for my Reading Across Canada project. And I think I have less than 100 pages now left in this one. So I'm hoping I will be finishing this one this week for sure. And this one was a Canada Reads selection in 2016. And I'm also listening to Heartberries by Therese Mailhot. And it is a nonfiction memoir about her. It's about mental health, I would say, and it's interesting because Birdie is also about mental health. So Indigenous mental health specifically. Yeah, so that is my intro to this. Trying out a new type of video, and we'll see how it goes. Good morning, everyone. So just a little reading update. I am 50 pages into On Immunity by Eula Biss. I find it really interesting. It is it's a nice way to write a nonfiction book about a subject that's so science heavy, is to do it in a much more personal way. For me, this is kind of the perfect way. I don't really want a lot of statistics or numbers or jargon, and this book doesn't have that. It's very much about Eula Biss's discovery of these ideas, her quest for knowledge, her attempt to see the gray area of vaccinations, of immunity, and of health, and all the words and kind of associations that we give to these things as we're trying to find our way. So left conservative versus liberal interpretations, natural versus chemical, like all these things that we assign status to is actually a jargon that is confusing people and like creating a lot of the division that we have. And it was really, anyway, it's really interesting. I really like that. Obviously still pre-COVID. So COVID changes a lot of that. Doesn't change it, but it gives it a bigger context to think of things in. And then I am 69 pages into Obasan by Joy Kogawa. And I am really enjoying this. It is told in a very interesting way. So the main character is Naomi, and we meet her as an adult in her mid-30s. She's a teacher. She has her own life. She doesn't have a family, a family of her own, but she takes care of her family. And and she goes to see her aunt. Obasan means aunt. And because her uncle dies. And while she's there, she is pulled into the family history around Japanese internment. But she's very reluctant to think about it. She's very reluctant to go there and to be in that place. I think because obviously it's painful. Obviously there's a lot of confusion about things that happened because she was a young child when it first happened. So she was 5 or 6. And so going back into that memory is just not pleasant for her. And so, so you're uncovering it through her. Another one of her aunts who is very politically active and who kept a journal and recorded what was going on during that time. So she's being kind of forced back into this world because she's taking care of her aunt after the death of her uncle, and kind of, revisiting this whole period of time. So that's how the story's told, and I think it's being told beautifully. Joy Kogawa is a beautiful writer. There's some sentences in here that are stunning. So yeah, that's where I am on that. And then The Baby on the Fire Escape, I'm almost finished. I have to be finished it by this Friday. So I'm just in the last main chapter, and I think there's one kind of epilogue style chapter after that. So that is my reading update for today, and I will check in again later. Hi, everybody. So I was just looking back on my footage for this vlog, and it has gone a little bit off the rails. I think like a weekend, I kind of forgot that I was filming for it. And so I'm not exactly sure what the overall picture of this vlog is going to look like when it goes together. But I just wanted to update you. So my original TBR for November, I read everything. And so I've started 3 more books in that time period. One of which I've already mentioned, which is Not on My Watch by Alexandra Morton, and I'm listening to that on audio. This is a book about the salmon farm situation in British Columbia. Alexandra Morton started out as a whale researcher, biologist, and then because of the effects of the salmon farms on wild salmon, and wild salmon being a food source for orca whales, she moved into activism, research, lobbying against I don't think she's specifically anti-salmon farm, but she's anti the salmon farms not being regulated enough to protect the wild salmon, basically. So I'm listening to that on audio. And then I also started 2 other books. The Shipping News by Annie Proulx. I have had this in my library for a long time. I've seen the film, and I'm I'm looking forward to, I've always thought that Bark Skins by Annie Proulx looked really good, but I wanted to start with this book because I own it and because it was her first very popular book, and it won the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award. So, and there was a real life book club at my former, where I formerly worked at the museum. They have a 8-month or 9-month of the year book club. And so they were reading it for December. So I decided to join. I'm going to go join them and talk about it. So that's on December 12th. So I started reading it now. I don't know if I like Annie Proulx's writing style. I'm struggling with it a bit. I'm struggling with her sentences. It has very clipped sentences that leaves out words. So instead of saying he has blue parka with, covered in rain, it'll just say blue parka covered in rain. And I don't mind that, but I find it how far am I? I'm 65 pages in and I'm still not used to it as a way of talking, and I'm getting kind of confused sometimes, or I'm like, what is she referring to here? So it's not flowing for me, and I'm curious if that is going to continue, if I'm going to feel that way the whole way through the book. I'm curious if all her books read that way, because so far I'm finding it not appealing. But I'm hoping that I will start to ease into it. Usually by now I would have eased into a new writing style that I'm not used to, but sometimes it takes longer in some books. And then I've also started a poetry collection called Charm by Christine McNair. She is a Canadian poet from, I'm not sure, where is she from? Ottawa. Not a huge fan of this yet either. I am 51 pages in, 51 poems in, and so far I'm not jiving with her style of poetry. I will finish it and hopefully I'll be able to pull one or two out of it that I like. I loved this cover, which is probably one of the reasons I bought it. And it also is, the description was, Christine McNair considers the craft work of conception from a variety of viewpoints, from pregnancy and motherhood to how an orchid is pollinated, to overcoming abusive relationships, to the manual artistry of carving a violin bow or marbling end papers. I'm not getting any of that in here, but I'm hoping that I will get some of it. But yeah, and I think if I don't, I will finish it, and if I'm not into any of the poems, I will pass this collection on, which is unfortunate, but just the reality sometimes of poetry. So today is November 27th, the full moon. So I have 3 days left of the month, and I hope I will definitely not be finishing the shipping news, so this is going to carry over into December, but I'm going to finish Charm up, and that'll probably be my last official read of November. I'm also about just over halfway in Not on My Watch, so that will also most likely carry over into December. So your last check-in for this vlog will be me finishing this, and I will talk to you when that happens. Hello everybody. So I'm going to wrap up this reading vlog here. I finished Charm by Christine McNair. This was not a very successful poetry collection for me. I just didn't get along with the style of the poems. The content seemed like it would be something that would resonate with me, but I just found that the execution of the poems just didn't pull me in, didn't keep me engaged in this collection. So unfortunately, I'm going to be passing this book on to someone else, and hopefully someone else enjoys it. It does have really good ratings on Goodreads, so obviously there are people that really enjoy these poems. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this reading vlog for what it's worth. Not sure if I'm going to continue this style of making monthly reading vlogs or not. So if you are obviously, if you want a short version of this, then you can check out the reading wrap-ups. I'm not sure how the two will flow and what kind of overlap will be between the two videos, but you know, sometimes you have to make some experiments and see how they work out. So I definitely will do more reading vlogs. It just may not be this style where I'm doing a month-long one in future, but we'll see. Let me know if you liked it or not, and I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.